Hi, I'm John Alexandrov. I'm here with Julie Etter, and Julie, we've been talking in the previous videos about 2013 and the dynamics that made that market and some of the great things that happened in your personal life last year. We started to talk a little bit about what you see for 2014. And we've primarily talked about how, in most cases, it's, buyer and seller, it's the right time in their life to make a move. But there are some dynamics that are taking place in the industry as well. We talked about interest rates maybe going a little bit higher. Probably inventory is going to stay about the same this year, although there is some new construction that's happening that wasn't happening a couple years ago. Not happening to the degree it was happening 8, 10, 12 years ago, but still new construction happening. Does it seem to be like any particular price range or geographic area that is stronger than another right now? And do you see any dramatic changes in 2014 versus 2013?
Yeah, I mean, John, I agree that construction will pick up. Like you said, not to the extent. I think we'll see a small increase in inventory. It's still going to be an inventory shortage, I believe, but I think we will see an inventory increase. However, a lot of the people that are putting their house on the market are seeking to buy another one, so it kind of trumps that inventory comment.
Are people moving up? Are they moving down?
For the most part, a lot of clients I'm seeing are either moving up or they're moving out of state, and so moving up, it's a relative term based on the price range.
That's interesting, because I've heard from multiple realtors that same comment about people moving out of state.
Yeah.
Now that really intrigues me to get another confirmation of that. I mean, I think the population of Massachusetts actually has been going down a little bit over the past few years. I'm hearing people moving to places like, Florida is typically a big one that we hear. But now I'm hearing Texas as well, because the unemployment rate in Texas is about 4%. There's a lot of job relocations, that type of thing. But anyways, I didn't mean to get off track. But it's just interesting that confirmation there are many people moving out of the state.
Yeah, so I mean, I expect 2014 to be, if this first week of January is any indication, it's going to certainly be a stellar year for real estate.
Okay, so how about different types of properties, price ranges?
You asked, what's in my geographic area. I mean, there's a minimal difference town to town, because even though, the average price point for each town may be slightly different, the trends have been consistent. The properties sold, and not so much number of properties sold. I don't feel as though that's as accurate to look at as much as turnover rate, and that has been very high. Because a lot of towns, if you look at some of the trends, it says, oh wow, well, X amount of properties sold this year, and 5 years ago it looks as though it's 40% less, we'll say. But that's not really an indication of the strength of the market, because there's just less properties on the market, but they're still being sold. So in my area, in terms of price point, 350 to 500, 350 to 550 even, it tends to be the most competitive. The reason being is, those are people that are oftentimes an often price range for someone who sold a condo or a smaller house. Now they're moving into the family house, we'll call it. And there's plenty of buyers who are first-time home buyers who perhaps in 2007, 2008 went to the sidelines to say, I'm going to watch this, and they were looking for the bottom. And now, due to solid income and a higher down payment, as first-time home buyers, they're able to go into that price range.
Julie, it's interesting. Some of the people I work with in different parts of the country, I know, got a little disappointed when it actually took 60 or 90 days for a house to sell. Now, I can remember many years ago when appraisers would come to appraise properties or whatever. It was healthy that a home would be on the market 4 to 7 months before it sold. And then that time frame got shorter and shorter, and even when the market kind of fell apart for a while, properties were still selling in that 4 to 6 month time frame. Now it's dropped back down again, right? What's the in that sweet spot you were talking about, 300, 350 to 550? What's the average days on market if it's priced properly?
Yeah, I saw it. I looked at it actually yesterday, and it's about a 60 to 90.
60 to 90.
But understand too that some of that data, when you look at it, is a little skewed, because MLS has us tracking properties differently, and so whether you go under agreement or keep it active on the market. So some realtors, I don't even know if I should go into this. Some realtors will determine it differently in MLS. So those numbers should be taken with a small grain of salt, but really that's from day one to closing. You know, so about 60 to 90.
So that's pretty healthy when you think about it. I mean,
absolutely.
60 to 90.
If you take 45 to 60 is the norm for once a property goes under agreement to closing.
That's pretty good.
So it shows you that it's not on the market for that long.
Now, how about you know, a big impact in the market in the past, say, 3 to 4 years were short sales and foreclosures. Are you
Right.
seeing those start to go away a little bit?
Yes, and not you know, go diminish.
Right.
Yeah, but they're not gone completely. But yes, definitely.
Because that has to have an impact on property values.
Right.
That might support the increase in property
yeah.
values.
Yeah.
Some of the inventory is less if
Yeah.
the short sales and foreclosures are diminishing.
And short sales tend to drive the days on market trend higher.
Right. So I mean, I think
Longer.
that, again, I think that's actually for most people, especially if you're selling, good news.
Right.
Because it creates even less inventory,
Right.
less lower priced inventory, and supports property values because days on market are shorter.
Correct.
So this goes back to you, Julie, talking earlier about knowing the numbers and how real estate is data driven.
Right.
And I think it's a great example for everybody who's watching this of Julie's expertise in the marketplace, especially in the locations that you work in, Julie, because I would guarantee you, I mean, I work with realtors. I mean, I've worked with over 10,000 realtors in my career. And I would say that probably not many know the numbers the way that you know them in your community. So I mean, that's a great
it just
indication.
shows you. I mean, no one has an exact crystal ball, but
Right.
you know, it's nice to have a general idea as to where we're going.
So this is just an off-the-cuff question, Julie, but do you see anything else impacting the market or property values this year? We've talked about the short sales diminishing and foreclosures, interest rates fluctuating a little bit, unemployment seems to be improving.
Yeah.
A little bit, so that's a good sign. But do you see anything else driving the market this year?
I think those are the key factors, depending on town to town how much construction increases. You know, but we're still seeing with new construction growing. It's still, you know, a builder who's providing a finished product. So your loan program, you can close on a finished product versus people buying a piece of land, taking out a construction loan,
Right.
you know, and that affects days on market and excuse numbers too. It's just something different that we haven't looked at in several years.
Are you getting
because
more
of-
inquiries from builders who are looking for vacant land?
Yeah.
So that's a good sign.
You know, the
too.
thing
Yeah.
is they're not making any more land. So what's there is certainly, you know, builders looking for a variety of different uses for the land.
Except in Hawaii, by the way. They're still
Right.
making more land in
Right.
Hawaii. I was there a couple years ago, and
Yeah.
we flew over the lava fields, you know, and it's expanding. Now then they build golf courses on it
Yeah.
and all kinds of things. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting. Well, Julie, I think you're right on as well. I mean, again, we studied the trends here, the economic data. Was recently at a Case Shiller seminar, you know, the experts in real
Right.
estate valuations, and they're pretty much saying the same thing that you're saying. There are kind of these pockets of strength, which I think your area is one of those pockets of strength for several reasons. In addition to the economy, so you're close to Providence, you're close to Boston,
Yeah.
you're close to New York, you're close to the Cape,
Right.
you know, you're close to Worcester. I mean, so you're in a very good geographic area
Right.
for population growth.
Yeah, so I mean, I should say, as much as I have sellers who are moving out of state, I do a lot of relocation clients too, who are coming into the state for all the reasons you just mentioned, that are coming to our pocket because you can access such a dynamic area of where people need to commute to for work.
Well, Julie, I'm looking forward to going back and watching this video in about 6 months from now and see how close you were. I know you're going to be right on because you were last time as well. So
Great.
so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
We're going to take a short break. And we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about your book.